everyone. Katie with First Source. We're on another episode of The Source, People with Purpose. And I'm excited to continue on the path that we just started with our last episode, where we're going to talk with community partners rather than talk about finances per se for these episodes. So I'm very excited to be here with Paige, who is the Operations Support Specialist at Anita Swan's Humane Society, who is a group that we have been partnering with and helping to support for many years. And I also have Mariann with us today, who is our Community Engagement Coordinator with First Source Federal Credit Union. So welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today to talk a little bit about the Humane Society, about how First Source is involved. And really what I'm excited to talk about today is the launch and success of the Paws Pages program. Mary, can you tell us a little bit about the program, just what it is and how it started?
First Source has always had a long-standing, wonderful relationship with Anita Swan Humane Society. Our employees, our members are very, very passionate about helping the animals, and we do this through donation drives and plant sales and even just straight donations that our members leave with us. That was wonderful to help them, but we always felt we needed to do more and wanted to do more financially to assist them. We started as a teachers credit union, and we always want to stay close to our roots. So we wanted to make sure that if we did something, that it would tie in to our educational, like our filter. And so Pam Way, who is our community engagement manager, had this wonderful vision that she came up with to launch a program at the Humane Society that would assist the animals through a reading program to help them de-stress and to make them more adaptable. We came up with a proposal and reached out to Anita to see if this was something that she would be interested in. We also reached out to various state humane societies that already had this program in place and really sat with them to get the basis of what this does it benefit the animals, and how the children were affected by it. And the feedback and what we were looking for was exactly what Pam had intended and what she wanted to bring to the Humane Society. Not only was it going to fit our educational filter through reading for children, but it was also going to assist the animals and make them more adaptable. So we came up with a proposal. We launched it to Anita Swan Humane Society, and then we came up with a procedure guide. And through that procedure guide, we had training and how we were going to launch it on their website and how the kids would sign up. And we would have pilot readers to come in to see if this even worked up there, because every humane society is different. Mm-hmm. The setup is different. We have to make sure that this works for them, and that was the most important thing.
There was so much research
that went
into this. I remember you and Pam for hours just being on websites and searching, how is this done at other organizations, and what are the benefits, and what were the drawbacks, and where were the stumbling points, and what can we do to make sure that it is successful? I mean, it was just such an interesting idea to begin with, and we really had nothing in our area like this. So to have done all the research and the plans and bring something like this to fruition was really unbelievable. So kudos to the team, you guys, for really making this happen. Paige, can you just tell me a little bit about what this means to the Humane Society? Tell me about your staff. Tell me about your animals. Tell me about the readers. I'm so excited for all of it.
Yeah, I always tell everyone that Paws Pages, the reading program, is my second favorite part of my job because the animals are obviously my first. And so it's very rewarding. I don't have kids of my own, so they all are kind of like my kids. And it's great because I used to love reading as a kid. And I remember my sister, and I hope she doesn't kill me if she listens to this. My sister really struggled in school, reading especially, and comprehension. So my dad would sit her at the kitchen table every night after dinner and make her read aloud for hours on end, just for her to get over her fear and try to make reading a little bit more pleasurable. But as you probably can imagine, sitting at the table with your dad for a few hours is not as fun as sitting in a room full of animals. So it's
probably
really
a little bit more anxiety, probably a few more tears.
Yes, a lot more tears, I would imagine. Yes. So it's really cool that we get to offer this program through First Source's generous gift and idea. And I'm obsessed with the program. Our staff is too. Everybody on Saturday mornings pitches in, like cleaning, making sure everything looks great, and especially when we have puppies around, because you're going to shift puppy from room to room so all the kids can read to it and clean up a lot of different messes too. Yep. And so the cats are 10 times more sociable, I feel like, since we started the program. Saturday afternoons, if you ever stop by after the reading program, a lot of our animals are napping because of how much fun they just had. That's also great for adoptions, especially when it comes to kittens, because folks will come in and be like, they're so calm. Oh my goodness. And then they decide to pick up a kitten that day. So it's a really, really rewarding program, not just for the kids, for the staff, but also for the animals as well.
I think that's what we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
We piloted this for a year before we went live last year. And we wanted this to be enjoyable for the kids to come in. We didn't want it a task. We didn't want them intimidated to read. So we piloted it with First Source families first and had them come in. And they have to have a training session first. They have to know how to sit in front of the animals, why an animal might be stressed, the different atmosphere from them being in their home. We wanted them to know all of this before they went out and read. And there's a certain way to read to the animals, not face on, but to the side, to let them be comfortable with your voice. But we wanted to make it like a club. So we came up with having them have their own lanyard that has paw prints on it, and it has their name. And for every reading session, they get a punch on their card. So it's like a club. And when you get 10 punches, you get another pin for your lanyard. And it makes it fun for them. But the kids take ownership of this. They really love coming and going in and pick certain animals. And we've had several adoptions, not only with our employees, but even through the program itself in the last year.
A lot of adoptions through the program, which is awesome. We get a lot of folks who end up adopting a cat or two. And it's usually our harder case cats that might not be able to find a home as easily. For example, we do have a family that comes in early in the mornings, and they are two little girls and their mom. And in one of our rooms at the time, we had a very, very scared cat. Her name was Fiora, and she had a little kitten, and her name was Shy, and all they would do was hide. And so week after week, they came in, they read to the cat, and they were like, Mom, can we please take them home? And, it's a lot to take home an animal that might need a little extra TLC, especially when you have kids around. You just want to make sure it's the perfect fit. But Mom was not down for she was not backing down from a fight. And so they decided to adopt the two. And I get to ask them every single week, like, how's it going? Oh, well, we're progressing. Shy's coming out and playing. Fiora's coming out at night, and they're feeling a lot more comfortable in the house. But, that's a really, in my eyes, it's the perfect family for them. Someone who gives them time, patience, and space, and just allows them to be themselves. And I think that's kind of like how the reading program is too. We give them time, patience, and let them be themselves. And so we do have a lot of great adoptions. I mean, same with the dogs too. It's really hard to read to a puppy and not want to take it home. And that's happened to me as well. Not that I was reading to it, but we have a lot of really great success stories there with that as well.
It really is a win-win. Just going back to what Mariann was saying about the kids feeling ownership, right?
Yes.
So reading is really tough for some kids. And even if it's easier for others, it's still sort of this expectation, right? And it's part of your education and it's part of your schooling. And we want to progress that and reward them. So the fact that they are kind of being part of this club and they're getting stamps and they're getting pins and they're getting recognized, that's important to fuel their learning moving forward. And then, like we said, getting the animals to not feel so anxious. They don't know what happened to them. They weren't in this environment a minute ago, and now they're in this cage, and it's loud and it's scary, and they don't know what's happening. And so just to have a calming voice that's sitting with them, reading to them, and to your point, getting those folks to come back week after week, building those relationships. We're all about relationships with our members at First Source, right? So building these relationships, that's what puts everybody to ease and makes that perfect fit. How many times have you had a family say, I want this dog just maybe because of the way it looks or the breed that it is, bring it home, and then, within 2 days, it's being brought back because it's not the right fit.
Yep.
This really helps you have an opportunity that you might not have already had to meet the animal, to have exposure to the animal, to go, wow, I'm really bonding with this animal before I'm making the commitment to bring them home. So I'm just so happy that the idea sprouted, that we were able to bring it to fruition, that you guys were agreeable, because this was one, we always say First Source wants to give back, but we want to be a catalyst for others to join. But we also, it's not our responsibility at the end of the day to make something sustainable necessarily, right? And so having the Humane Society jump on board and say, we love this and we're going to take our ownership of it as well, and it is going to be sustainable and we will carry it forward. And, Mara was there on several Saturdays making sure that you felt comfortable. And so just to see where it is today and understand, tell me that you knew the number of adoptions, I think, Mary. How many have they had?
A couple months ago, what we were at.
One something, I think.
150
for adoptions. Me being one of them. Thank you very much. I went home with a corner kitty, and she's my baby. And several of our employees went home with cats and a dog. It's just been a wonderful success. And Paige has taken this program for us, expanded it, and done everything that we hoped that it would be. She's done a wonderful job, along with the staff up there. They're wonderful to deal with. But you have taken it and just really taken it to the level that we have wanted it to be. And I can't thank you enough for that. Pam and I are so thrilled where it has gone in a year. And just even the readers that we have now we started out with 10 pilot readers, and we did that for a year just to make sure we had all the kinks worked out, that the program was going to run smoothly. We were doing things to keep it in line with the protocol of the Humane Society, because it's a business too there. You have things to do, and we want to make sure that we're just not disrupting your day of business, but you have been very welcoming, and you have done such a wonderful job, and we can't thank you enough for it.
Thank you.
But just the readers that you have taken us to is just unbelievable.
And like you guys said, we're coming up on our year anniversary. I can't believe that it's already been a year.
I know.
And so successful. Tell us how an interested reader might get involved, or maybe a teacher that wants to bring their classroom. Tell us what they would need to do.
All they'd have to do is go right online. You can sign up. Now, it is $10 a year per child, but $10 is really a great donation. It makes and you don't think like $10 makes a big impact because, it's just $10 at the end of the day. But every $10 donation goes straight to our mission. And we've been seeing a lot of medical cases recently that are a little bit more expensive, especially with vet care and costs rising there. So every little bit helps. And so your kids get to be a part of that philanthropy from a very young age and in a very cool way.
And I love that money, it's being given back. Like you said, it's the idea of philanthropy. You would pay more than $10 for a tutoring session for reading. So,
exactly.
You're getting much more in return. But they go right on the Humane Society's website to get started.
Yes, they do. Yep, right on there,
Wonderful.
Right under programs. So you have the Paws and Pages reading program. You can click there and then schedule your training session.
Great. And it's something to think about for parents for the summer. I know a lot of times you want to keep your kids reading over the summer. So it's really for any age group. It doesn't have to be someone who's younger and stumbling. It can be a teenager who has a chapter book and maybe they just want to read a chapter at a time and come in. So kudos to you guys for getting this off the ground and making it happen and getting ready to celebrate a successful year. It's very, very exciting.
It is.
Is there anything else that you guys want to share with us today?
Well, I would like to kind of segue into we had a really great adoption with Bonnie, and we do have someone who reads at our program every week. He has probably, if he doesn't have the most pins on his lanyard, he's the second person who has the most pins on his lanyard. His name is Connor. He comes in every week to read, and every week he reads Shel Silverstein poems to the cats in our green room. So we are going to dedicate a corner of our green room to Connor and Bonnie, which is Mariann's cat. And just make it a really safe space for kids who might feel a little bit more nervous to read, especially because it is like kind of a smaller corner where you have a couple of kitty cats that will walk back and just sit there with you in your lap. And just want to make it a little bit more of a calming environment too. So we're really opening hours up here soon. It's going to be for our summer vacation, and that's going to start on June 20th. So we'll have Tuesday hours and Thursday hours. There'll also be afternoon hours, and we're extending it a little earlier in the morning on Saturdays too, because we are seeing all of our time slots fill up pretty fast. So, which is a great thing. Yes, it's a good problem to have. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show today. I hope our listeners feel like they learned something new. And if they have kids, maybe they'll sign them up for the program, which would be great.
I know. I hope so.
So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.